Good evening and welcome to True Encounters. I'm your host, Marvin Allen. If you or anybody that you've known have had a sighting or encounter and would like for me to narrate it or you can share it on my channel, then please contact me. I would love to hear from you. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. As you all know, I have been uploading new encounters and I'm getting ready to upload another one. So without further ado, let's jump right into this encounter. Now this encounter comes from an eyewitness who is from the South. And the one thing that he said that he liked to do, he liked to buy his animals and slaughter them himself. So that's what he used to do. He used to buy his animals, slaughter them, then take the remains that he don't use and walk them down and throw them in the woods for the other animals to eat off of and scavenge. So one weekend when he said he was out there slaughtering an animal, he did what he had to do, separated his meat. He said, but he didn't take the entrails and all the stuff that he didn't use and take it down and put it in the woods yet. He had put all that stuff in a bucket, went in the house, and he sat down in there because he said at that time he was a little tired. So he went in there and he sat down in the house. He said for some reason he wound up dozing off. So he jumped up and said, well, I got to go out here and, throw this stuff away because he just remembered it. He never did it earlier. So he gets up, goes in the bathroom, use the bathroom. But he said before he go out, he was going to make him, something to eat. So that's what he did. He said while he was there making him something to eat, he heard some noise just out back. So he stopped what he was doing and he listened. He said the next thing that he heard was boom, boom, boom. He said it sounded like something or someone was walking out back. So he walked towards the back door, but he didn't go out. He waited for a few minutes and he listened. All of a sudden, he heard something just take off. Then he can hear trees breaking because his house is not that far from the woods. So after all that commotion and noise, he opens the back door and he goes out. He noticed that the bucket is turned over and a lot of the remains is gone. He walked down a little bit and he followed a little blood trail or whatever. And he stopped at the beginning of the wood line. He didn't go in. So he went back in the house. So the next day, he gets up, get himself together, and he goes out back. Because mind you, he never cleaned up that mess. But after he got himself together, ate something, he went out back. But when he went out back, he discovered that the rest of the remains was gone. There was nothing left but blood, probably a few other little parts. So he cleaned up that mess and he sat out back for a minute, just to see. Sat out back and he would see a deer here, a raccoon. So he thinking in his mind, did a raccoon take it or did a coyote take it? He don't know, but he knows something took those remains. So he sat there for a couple of more hours. Nothing. Goes in the house. He makes himself dinner. He eats and he goes in his room. Say when he goes in his room, he heard this noise on the side of his house. And it's bam, bam, bam. Something or someone is banging on the side of his house. He gets up, he goes to the window, pull the curtain, and he looks out there. He don't see nothing. Goes back, and he sits on the edge of his bed. Said after a few minutes would pass, it did it again. But this time, it came from the opposite side of the house. So he jumps up and he yells out, "Get the f away from my property, or I'm coming out there and I'm shooting. I ain't asking no questions." Because at this time, he don't know what is banging on his house. So he sit back down again. Few more minutes would pass. The bangs come back again. But this time, it's at the back of the house. He gets up. He grabs his shotgun. Walks. Goes to the back door. He yells out again. Said, "If I open up this door, all I'm doing is shooting." So he stand there and he listen. The next noise he hear is something walking out back. But he said it's walking like me or you. He said whatever this is bipedal. So he hears something walking out back. He turns the doorknob slow. He eases the door open and he peeks out. When he peeks out, he see nothing at this time. He opened the door some more and try to look on the other side, but he can't because the door is not open wide enough. So he opens the door up, stands in the doorway, and he looks around. And when he looks around, just to the right of his house, he sees something that he said he couldn't describe or didn't know what it was. But he said the first thing that came to mind was he was looking at a werewolf. He said he see this massive, huge creature standing up bipedal with a humongous head, long arms with hands, and amber-colored eyes. He looking at this thing and he's seeing the size on it. So he steps out a little bit more. He cocks it, because now he ready to shoot. And he points it in this creature direction. He got his hand on the trigger, but he say something telling him, if you shoot it, you better kill it. If you shoot it, you better kill it. So he still got this gun on this creature. He said that's when this creature looked. And listen, these is his words. He said that's when this creature looked. And he said if he could bet anything, he said that he could have swore that this creature smiled at him or gave him some kind of smirk. Said then it started to walk to its right. And it walked. He said, but the whole time this creature kept his eye on him. He said it walked to its right. Boom, boom, boom. He said he could hear the footsteps hit the ground. He said then it stopped. He said it stopped, and then it turned and it faced him. He said when it turned and it faced him, this thing started to growl. He said, and it was powerful. He said because he could feel it resonate through his body. He said he wanted to shoot so bad. He said that's when this creature did a bluff charge. He said, and when it did that bluff charge, he just reacted. Boom! He shoots. He know he hit it. The creature stopped. And when it stopped, it growled again. But this time it was more louder and powerful. He said the creature take another 2 steps. Boom! He lets off another one. He hits it again. But he know he is not hurting this thing. He said he backs up towards his back door. Goes up in the house and he's staying there, but he's still watching this creature. And then he hurry up and shut and he locked the door. He said the next thing he just hear running. Doom, doom, doom. Boom! He said and this thing ran into the back of his house. He said it was so powerful when he ran into the back of his house that it was knocking stuff off the walls. He said this when he got scared. This when he got terrified. He goes in there, he gets on the phone. He calls the police. He said, y'all need to come out here. Somebody trying to break in my house. They comes out there. He said when they get there, he lets them in, takes them towards the back. And he told the police, he said, I hope you're ready for this. He opens up the back door. They goes out and look. Nothing. He said, what am I looking for? He said it was something trying to get in my house. He said, well, what was it? Now my eyewitness thinking, what do he say? He said, because if he say it was a monster of some sort, they're going to think he's crazy. He said, I don't know. I just know it was all black. Somebody in all black. He said the police takes the looks around. He can see where, blood was out there and, lower remains and stuff. And he asked him, he said, what is this? He said, oh, I slaughtered my own animals. He said, okay. Police walks all around on his property, all even down by the wood line. He sees nothing, he hears nothing, he leaves. He takes a report saying that a unidentified male, trying to break in his house and all that. He said, well, if you get any, more disturbances or whatever, give us a call. The police leave. He said he set up in his front room watching TV. He said a few hours would pass. He said he looking at his watch and he looking at the time. He said it was 2:32. And he decided to go in there, lay down and go to bed. He said so he get up, leaves out, walk down a little hallway, and he goes in his room. He said just when he was getting ready to take off his clothes and put on his night clothes, boom! He hears something heavy hit the roof. Boom. Then he just hear boom, 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 boom. He hears something walking up on the roof. He loads the shotgun up again. And he goes out there. This time he goes out the front door. He goes out the front door, backs up in his front yard, and he looks up. And when he looks up, he see this massive creature again. He said, but when he look up and he see him this time, he said it was like he was stupid or squatting down. And it was looking right at him. He said he aimed his gun again. He said, but this time when he aimed his gun, the creature stood up, ran to his left, and just leaped. He said this thing had to leap about 25 feet from off that roof. And just took off round through the back and into the tree line. He goes back in the house, stays up for the rest of the night. Now it's coming up because a friend of his asked, could he slaughter an animal for them? So he said, I wasn't going to do nothing this week. And, you know, they talked him into doing it. So they get the animal, they bring it to him, they give it to him. He slaughters it. He said it's like 5 PM. You know, he cutting it up, separating what he had to separate, what he gonna keep. And he throw the rest in the bucket. He said while he was there doing this, he had crack, crack, crack. Like someone breaking tree limbs. And he hurry ups and he looks down there in the wood line. And when he looked down there in the wood line, he see this creature. Now mind you, at this time, he don't have his gun, he don't have nothing. He said that's when this creature started to walk out the woods. He said, and it's walking and it ain't stopping. He drops everything he was doing and he shoots in the house. He shoots in the house and he looks out the kitchen window. And when he looks out the kitchen window, he see this creature just take what he just did and turns and it walks back into the wood line. Now his friend called him and he asked him, is that ready? Can we come and pick it up and everything? He said, he didn't know what to tell him. He said, no, can y'all come get it? He said, no, we need to get it tonight. We need to get it the day from you. He said, I don't have it. His friend said, what do you mean you don't have it? We brought it to you. He said, it's something happened. He said, what do you mean something happened? He said, I'll come down there. He said, no, I'm going to come up there. So he goes up there, lets him in. He said, where's it at? He said, I don't know. I came in the house and I went back out and it was gone. He said, what do you mean it was gone? Who took my animal? He said, if I tell you this, you're going to think I'm crazy. He said, tell me what? He said, I went in the house and I heard a noise and I looked out the window and I just seen something black come and take it. He said, what do you mean something black come and take it? What, I mean, who was it? He Said, I don't know. He said, I'll just reimburse you. I'll pay for it, what you paid for the animal, and I'm going to just leave it as that. He said, I thought you was my friend. I didn't know you would do this to me. He said, I'm telling you the truth. He said, they going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Found his friend leave, paid him, and he left. Said after he left, an hour passed. He goes back there and he looks out the kitchen window again. And when he looks out there again, he see this creature just standing midway up in his yard. Just standing there, looking in his direction. He said after about a minute or two, it turned, dropped to all fours, and it took off back into the tree line. And that's my eyewitness encounter. There is more, but I don't want to take up too much time on this one and wind up not having enough data or room to put it on there. So I'm gonna upload this, let y'all check it out. Hope you like it. So stay tuned for the next true dogman encounters. Peace.